Hi everyone, this is Dave with Learning Media Arabic again, and today I have just a quick lesson on using the Hans Wehr. Um, as you might know, the Hans Wehr is organized in by root. So at first you might say, well, that's a bit of a waste of time. Why not just use Google Translate or an online dictionary or something, or even a dictionary that's not based on root and it's just based on letters starting with the meme, aleph, meme, lam, for example, and just working like that. And those have have their uses, I should say. But the interesting thing is Hans Wehr as a learning tool can be useful because it can give you a sense for the different ways that the Arabic language is constructed, and it can give you an intuition when you say you don't know a word, you don't have access to a dictionary, an online dictionary, but because you've been paying attention to how this root, for example, is changed into different forms, you'll be able to come up with a reasonable definition just using your mind. You don't have to worry about getting a strict definition. You're just able to say, okay, in this context, it would make sense because it has that root, which sounds like this. It would be like this in English, for example. So you have your root. You have to say you find the word like ta'amul. You wouldn't be looking up with the ta first. You would be saying, okay, this is, if you've studied your measures, which is how a lot of the Western world views Arabic. They divide things into measures. You would say that's a measure 5 verbal noun. So you say, well, what's the root? Pretty much coming up with the root of any word you don't know is like the first step to getting to knowing what the word's saying. So you say amala. So then you look up amala in the dictionary, and here it gives you some definitions for the root, and then definitions for the verb itself in the different measures. That's measure 2. That's measure 5. And here it would say to contemplate or whatnot, to look attentively. But of course, you come down into the derivatives of that root. You have ta'amul, which is right here, and it's the noun for consideration or contemplation. And here it's even a special form in the plural, meditations. We might translate that. The reason why it's better than it has an additional function than just getting that definition, because you could really type in ta'amul into Google Dictionary, Google Translate, and get consideration or contemplation. But looking it up like this, and actually I encourage reading through the Hans Wehr occasionally and just getting a sense for how words are formed, because you never know when you might see something like a word you've never seen, like mu'amul, which here means hopeful. Does that necessarily mean that it's going to mean hopeful and you can say mu'amil definitely in all contexts? No, because it should be used Arabic to English first. One caution is not trying to translate back and saying, oh, the word for hopeful is this way, I'm always going to use this to mean hopeful. It might not in some contexts. Of course it is in this particular example, but I'm trying to give an example of what not to do. So, because some words are not used, even though it's in the Hans Wehr, just because he found a usage of it and came up with this definition doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to mean that, or that that word is used that way anymore, because the dictionary itself is rather old. Still the best one out there, but times change and people stop using words, especially in Arabic, which is an interesting case, being that it's a part of a digloss system, and you have the dialects being more active, or in my opinion more active than MSA, which is almost solidified by its use in the media. In any case, some other things to look out for or to notice. You've got here a phrase using this root. The root amana. and it's got the prepositions used, or if it doesn't require a preposition, just has the object there. All the different forms and measures, words that are used with that word. So amin al-am is public safety, common usage. It's really useful, and reading it like this, getting a sense to know, okay, this root amina is often used to mean safety or trustworthy, or it has that sense. You can just get a sense for words, and then all the different derivations, with a few exceptions, will relate to that. Or someone who's amin is reliable or trustworthy, and you'll get to know what it means. Or when someone throws a ya in between the second and third radical of amina, and it's used in all sorts of roots, and it gives you a one who is, or an adjective form to that root. So this might have been a little rambling. I just wanted to provide a little bit of some few ideas about how to use the Hans Wehr, especially if you come into it and it seems intimidating. It isn't, and I encourage you to use it. And yeah, all right, take care.